Hey you guys, Matt Allen, Tim Little, welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today we are talking about the core bass fishing rods and reels, the best mid-priced combos. Let's go. Today we are talking about core rod and reel combos, the affordable rod and reel combos. You know, hopefully you guys have been following this series now for several days. If you haven't, we'll be sure to link those videos down below in the video description. Make sure you go back and check those out because we've touched on a lot of key products, a lot of new products, and more importantly, a lot of new price points. So those of you guys have been following the channel for several years know that this is a series that we do every year, and this year is just a little bit different. So instead of giving it an actual price point, because things have fluctuated a little bit, we've just named it the core or affordable combo video. So as we work from left to right, my left to my right, we're gonna get a little bit more expensive. If you click the links down below the video description, it'll take you right to Tackle Warehouse, and you can get all the specifications and the exact price for each item that we're talking about. So some of the stuff you might have seen in previous videos, some of us we've touched a little bit on, but now we're upgrading the combos just a little bit, maybe a different rod, maybe a different reel, different combinations. So let's go. All right, mind if I kick it off? Go for it. All right, let's start right here. So we have already talked about Intenza, but today we've got a Shimano Intenza paired up to a Shimano Miravel. This is the lowest price point in this entire video, but you are definitely arriving at the mid price, right? The bang for the buck category, if you will, the core of bass fishing rods. An Intenza paired with a Miravel will not break the bank, and you've got a combo that is phenomenal. The Intenza has excellent sensitivity, very unique models that you can't get at lower Shimano price points, and then the Miravel gives you incredibly lightweight and excellent feel, very smooth at a very affordable price. That combination, if a guy wants to step up, to try that next level, to get one of those lifetime combos, a rod that you are going to use for a very long time, and you're ready to get into a category where you can be very technique specific with your choices, Intenza and Miravel is the most budget-friendly way that you can do that.
Yeah, Intenza, that's a really classy looking rod. You mind handing me the next one?
Sure.
All right, continuing down this spinning combo, we got a couple more combos for you. And next up for me is the St. Croix Victory. Now again, we've touched on Victory in previous videos. For those who haven't seen the previous videos, Victory, St. Croix, this line is incredibly vast. There are so many models, probably more models than any of these other lines out there. But it is a line of rods that's made here in the States, so the price hasn't fluctuated too much. But they are an amazing rod for the price. Again, whether you're throwing a hair jig on a spinning rod, you need a 7'6" or 7'8", 7'10", or you're throwing a swim bait rod. In that Victory lineup, they have everything. Today we're talking about spinning. We have that paired up with the new. This is the Ballistic MQ LT. It's a 2500 from Daiwa. Now this reel, monocoque reel, it's a fast reel. I think 6.2 to 1. So if you're a guy that likes to take away a minnow, shake a minnow, or you like to fish a fluke on a spinning rod, this is a reel for you. But again, same Daiwa quality, super buttery smooth, super nice drag, paired up with some Suffix 832 braided line. Throw yourself a leader on there, whether it's fluorocarbon or monofilament, and you have an awesome, super sensitive combo that's going to last you a long time.
All right, jumping up to the next spinning. We've got 4 spinning before we even get into casting. Many of these, if you've been tracking the series, we started the rod and reel portion because before that we did jigs and chatterbaits as separate videos. Then we got into rods. We did a video, if you missed it, where we went from the most entry level to the most high-end enthusiast rods on the market and everywhere in between. And we gave you our favorite lines, our favorite 3 from each of like 6 or 7 price categories.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of these were talked about in there, as you would expect, and now we're getting much more specific about them, pairing them up to key reels. But this particular line is one that fell between price points and was not in that video. We have yet to mention the Dobyns Sierra line of rods. The Sierra, again, are excellent rods for the money. Sierra has fallen between lineups for years because there are key price jumps, right? But this is the year, again, where all the pricing in our industry has changed. Some companies saw huge changes, some saw minor or no changes, but huge fluctuation all over. So what used to be apples to apples or used to be at a certain price point no longer is. Sierra was always an excellent line of rods, but it landed between price points and it was sort of an odd one to even talk about. That's not the case anymore. Now it is a standout at its price, so I'm excited to talk about it today. It is a major step from Fury up to Sierra. In fact, it's sort of a two-step there, but there are some amazing actions here. You've even got amazing bait finesse options in the Sierra lineup, several of them. Phenomenal rods at any price, but excellent now, paired up to a Shimano Ultegra, a reel we talked about yesterday. The Ultegra is just, it is such a strong reel at an excellent price point. This pairing is amazing. The Ultegra, it's a very powerful reel. You've got great connectivity to your bait. If you lean towards, you know, shaky heads and tubes and things like that, I would lean to an Ultegra. Whereas if you throw more, you know, drop shot or really finessey things, then you lean more into that MGL family. But the Ultegra paired up to a Sierra is an awesome combo.
All right, last but not least, in the spinning combo, we're talking about, he just talked about the Dobyns Sierra. Now we're talking about the Dobyns, the Champion XP. And I might be completely wrong, but the XPs, the Champions, have been around for decades. Probably the longest rod line out of any of these rods we're talking about. They've been around for a long, long time. They brought the Sierra in, they brought the Fury in after the fact, but this XP has been around for a very long time, and they are really, really good rods. Now you're jumping up into a full cork handle, if that's something you like. Now, we're talking about spinning, but just know that the casting rods, just like the Sierras having the bait finesse rods in there, you're a full line of as many rods as you'd like. Right. Full swim bait rods, crank rods, frog rods, punch rods, all of it. It's all in that Champion XP. But since we're talking about spinning, we went ahead and paired that up with the Shimano Vanford. Now, a lot like the Ultegra that he talked about, this thing is buttery smooth. It has that same connected feel. It's more in that MGL or that more finessey feel line of reels from Shimano. So this thing, very, very easy to turn the handle. Has more of that MGL feel to it. Very connected to the bait. But this thing is very light, very easy to turn the handle. This is going to be a great reel for your ultralight finessey stuff. Throwing minnows, Ned rigs, you know, your smaller drop shots, that sort of stuff. That thing is just, it's a lot lighter than the Ultegra. That's more of like your workhorse power. This is more of like your, am I actually holding a spinning rod? Like right. It's crazy the difference in feel. But that Vanford, they've been around for a long time. They keep upgrading them, and that's a really killer combo right there.
So our goal with today's video is to help identify the new standouts at every price point. So like the Sierra with an Ultegra is phenomenal, but if it is in your budget to jump one more time, you step up to the Champion XP and a Vanford. If that's not in your budget, right here is amazing for the money. That's the goal here. It is not by mistake, it is by design that we are doing this video today while Tackle Warehouse has all of their rods on sale. Our goal is to help you guys gain as much knowledge in our shifting industry. Everything is up in the air over the last, has been, it's not now, it was up in the air all through the past year. Now things are starting to settle, the dust is settling down, And we've been going through all the rods, all the reels, and identifying where the real gems are at each price point. And that's what this is about. Now let's shift into casting. First one up, just like spinning, again, is that Shimano Intenza. It is not a mistake. In this category, again, your lowest price point that still qualifies for that real core line of rods. The biggest deal to me with Intenza is that there are models available there that are not available in some of the other lineups, and it really opens doors for you. Paired up to an SLX 70 MGL, that SLX 70 is a dream reel at any price, right? It's got an MGL spool in it. It will cast a country mile. We have raved about it for years. The SLX 70 MGL, any Shimano MGL spool, honestly, but the 70s in particular, will just send it. It's crazy how far you can cast. So when you take that reel and pair it up to a line like this where you've got a lot of model options, I mean, you're saving a lot of money over some higher priced rods and reels, and your actual fishability is off the charts.
Yeah, when you click on the links down below in the video description, you'll see they'll go right to Tackle Warehouse, and they'll have all the specifics to all of these rods and all these reels. And you'll see the prices, and you can mix and match for what works on your budget. So can you throw that reel on this rod? Absolutely. You can play around with these combos. These are combos that we've built to try and stay kind of in that price range per se, but there's no rules to this by any means. Next up is going to be the Levante by Megabass. Megabass, Japanese company. They pride themselves in high quality, light, sensitivity, just an overall fit and finish. They're some of the prettiest rods on the market, but you get that true kind of JDM feel, kind of the beginning of that JDM feel as we work through these price points. But that Levante, even though it's not the most expensive rod in our lineups by any means, we fish them often, very often. Some of our favorite rods for certain techniques are the Levante. So we have that paired up with, that's the Daiwa Tatula, that's the SVTW. Again, we'll link that stuff down below in the video description, but now you're getting a higher quality reel, multiple ways to adjust the braking system. You have that T-wing system in there for added castability, added cast distance, but it's a low profile reel, feels really good in the hand. Again, this is an awesome combo, a little bit more money, but now you're stepping up to lighter, more sensitive, true JDM feel in that combo.
Yeah, and this is where you're stepping up. I mean, we've referred to the core of bass fishing, right? That exact combo, and we'll give you in the video description, not just a link to Tackle Warehouse, we'll give you our favorite models of Levante, of Intenza, of Champion XP with that link. That exact combo, that rod, that reel is my favorite square bill combo, period. That's what I throw a square bill on 95% of the time. We've arrived at that price where from here on, I mean, you're talking, it's the stuff. These are the real combos that you can fish with 7 days a week if you want to, and they just take it. It's really amazing. Next up, jumping back over to Shimano. This is the Zodius line of rods. Shimano Zodius are phenomenal. Monocoque handle. We've got this paired up to the Corrado 150M. A brand new version of the Corrado 150. The Corrado 150 MGL, the previous generation, already had an MGL spool in it. Unbelievable reel. Casting distance was incredible. When they did the update to this 150M and went to the MGL 3 spool, even more dialed in. If you can imagine, if you own a Corrado 150, you know how far you can cast, you know how well you can dial it in. It's insane. That MGL 3 spool takes it one more step. Now back to the Zodius. One of the things I love about the Zodius line, much like Intenza, is that there are models that you can't get in the rest of the family. Look how long this handle, put that rod next to this one. Look how much longer that handle is. See those extra couple of inches down there? That is the difference maker with heavier techniques, like spooning, be that a jigging spoon or a flutter spoon, slinging A-rigs around, smaller swim baits up to mid-size swim baits, things where you want to grab that rod and lob them and you need some handle to hold on to. It's excellent for that. It is such a standout. Even when we're fishing a pile of X-Prides, there are certain techniques where there's always a Zodius in the mix because the actions are just a little bit different. The handles are different and they fill key voids in the lineup.
100%. All right, next up, we're taking a step up to the Fenwick Elite. Previous videos, we mentioned how Fenwick got revamped a few years ago, a couple years ago. Came out with 4 lines. They've completely redone. The Elite is the second from the top, but it is insanely light and very sensitive. Okay, very, you know, Fenwick has been, it's one of the first rods I ever fished with, and it's really cool to see them producing high-end quality rods. Paired that up with an Abu Garcia, that's the Revo SX. Now the Revo, they've been revamped too. I've thrown a Revo for years. What always set the Revos aside from the other reels on the market is just the power, the drag power. How much drag, you can lock that thing down. So if you're throwing a swim jig in grass, or you're doing some flipping or some punching, or you're throwing a frog and you really just want to cinch that drag down, hit them hard and grind them out, that Revo has the horsepower, that drag power to get those fish moving and get them in the boat. But that is an awesome combo. The Fenwick paired up with that Abu Garcia. Again, bigger power handle on there, bigger grips in the hand. Again, power on power. It's easy to get those fish moving, but that is an awesome combo.
Why don't you hand me those 2 swim bait rods over there? I'll jump in there. So we are at that core of bass fishing, right? This is where you can really get out into those niche lines. Now, all the way through these videos, we've been talking about bait finesse, and we've been talking about swim baits at the 2 ends of the spectrum. And there are real standouts at this price point. Now, Tim already, he just finished talking about those Elite rods by Fenwick. Something I want to add to that is the Elite rods did not change in the last couple of years. They have been amazing rods, but they were in one of those price categories where they were also surrounded by amazing rods. All the pricing has shifted in this industry so much in the last year that some of those other rods moved up and left it sitting there by itself. And now it is a glaring standout at its price. Before, it was in a whole family of rods and you're like, I don't know which one. I like this one for this, that one for that. Now it's obvious. And there's a lot of that. It is a very different year. That's part of what's making these so fun for us, is we've never done any of these videos that we're doing right now. We've never compared specific models because they haven't been in the same price categories. It's fun to film. It's fun to share with you what we've learned, but it has been an adventure for us getting to know and then getting to relearn different price points, different models, what changed, what gave, what didn't. It's really been an experience. So that Fenwick Elite, the specific model is the 7/8 medium heavy fast. For swim bait fishing, I have that paired up to that Revo inshore. I use this inshore for a few different things. Smaller swim baits, particularly glides, which is why I bring this combo up. This is a rod that there's a lot of people now throwing those mid-size glides, right? Like 6 to 7 inch glides have really taken over a lot of the glide bait category. And baits of that size don't need giant swim bait gear. So there's a lot of people using a 200 size spool to do it. That inshore gives you a ton of horsepower, but that power handle gives you an incredible amount of drag power. If you want to stop them, you can stop them. But that combo, that rod in particular, just loads like a dream for those mid-size glides. The other one I want to talk about is from Shimano in the Zodius line. It's the 7.9 Extra Heavy. Now, because of pricing changes, I've paired that with a Corrado 300 rather than the Tranks that I traditionally fished it with. Complete other end of the spectrum. The 7.9 extra heavy is a broomstick. This is hands down, any price point, do not care, my favorite rod for slinging an 8-inch mag draft. I love it. That is my dedicated big mag draft rod. And with a Corrado 300 on it, you've got all the power to horse on those fish and get them coming to the boat. It's an amazing combo at a great price.
All right, two standouts at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. This guy right here, the Cashin. This is the Element Z2. More importantly, this is the 610 medium light bait finesse rod. We've already talked about this rod and what an amazing rod it is for bait finesse, but now at that higher price point, now we're adding the Corrado BFS. You know, in previous videos, we added the Arc on there. This thing is an awesome, awesome reel. It's really the reel that kind of set that bait finesse category on fire out here in the West. You know, it's been decades, available for decades overseas, but now that Corrado has that bait finesse reel, the Corrado BFS, that is an awesome, awesome reel. And again, guys, I can't emphasize how much fun bait finesse is. Whether you're throwing your Ned rig setup or a spy bait or a blade bait or a little 2.8 swim bait, throwing it on a bait caster as opposed to throwing it on a spinning rod has some benefits. So that Z2 in that 610 medium light paired up with that Corrado BFS is an awesome bait finesse combo. And then right down the same lineup, this is the Corrado bait finesse rod. That's a 6.8 light, so quite a bit lighter. You can throw even lighter baits on this, again paired up with that Corrado BFS. Bait finesse is here to stay. It is so much fun. It's the easiest way to make an average day or a day of catching average or smaller than average fish and make it into an exciting day. So much fun. And big fish eat those small baits too. It's a profile. It's baits in categories, smaller profiles that they haven't seen, the actions they haven't seen, and the fish just eat it. And it's just so much fun. But now that we're actually in this price point, in that price point realm, now we're talking about some true technique specific bait finesse setups.
Yep. Yeah, that little light, I mean, that's so good for all your tiny little treble hooks. It's so good for all that stuff. Just fun fishing, right? That's what it boils down to. All right, guys, with that, we are wrapping up today's video. Now, keep in mind, we are going 7 days a week right now. So there will be a brand new video tomorrow. It's blowing. There'll be a brand new video for you tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're continuing with the rods. We're talking high-end rod and reel combos. We'll see you then.
See you guys.